Hey man, I meant to tell you this also, man. Let me be real with you. I just wanted to tell this possession. If there was ever spirits of guidance, of the spirits, of real guidance, of magic, force, might, power, or all type of other speed, might, strength, light, even the planets, moons, and suns and earths are reasons of habitation, and also the possession of spirits of guidance and spirits of guidance, and then the continuance of one's reflection of habitation of the real star, magi, empresses of all planets, moons, suns, or earth, solar system, galaxies, the universe, or star clusters, astrology, constellations, or sacred zodiacs, or light of space, light of gravity, or, of all planets, or atmospheres, or jewelstones and elements of all space, or planets, suns, and moons, and earths, with atmospheres and within all skies, or lightning, electric thunderstorm, like chemistry, even of refinement and nourishment, and the real energy and the real energies of existence that is secondary. I would just like to say this. Remember, I told you about certain empresses that did wrong according, mad, you know, certain star empresses, magi, star empresses, majesty empresses, uh, of all highest, all beyond highest quantum, mega, super, astrological, terrestrial, and celestial inner points of enlightenment of all, and of all jewels and stones also, and all elements also. I'll just say this. Remember I told you about rags, edge, blade, and shield, right? Imagine if there were people who, you know, and HLA and lived their mother were people that tried to recondition spirits and energies, because by reconditioning the point of physics and the physical, that they were trying to recondition spirits and energies and forces to make them lose their power and their force, well, their energy. Because think about it, I got shot in the paradigm. I'm the real force of space and the force of existence and life. So I got shot in the paradigm. So who tried to make somebody forget the reason of their existence? It's just like when they went to and did what they did at the pyramids, and then what they did to, I'm Orion Pax, but when they tried to kill the Transformers and the pre-prime trans by breaking through the pyramids a certain type of way one time, looking at certain things that happen a certain way, and then think about this. These are people that were skilled in elements before, but that, how can I say? Me, Ra, I, I'm a Tahino Indian also, but also an I. But, a ray, the reason of a ray, either way you look at Ra, Ta, the reason of the rays of existence, I'm just going to say just like this. Imagine if Razor Blade and Shield was trying to learn a form of magic to recondition the energies and forces, like they were going to do identity theft to energies and forces and possession spirits, but they started in physics, and then they would never be able to do it because the energies and forces would be, and once they would acknowledge it, they would never have to worry about that ever in existence in every paradigm of time, because they wouldn't even be in existence in the paradigm of time, not even to their own habitation, the planet, of rags, legibility, and shield, HEV, and live. They just be finished, or anybody that ever hurt me or took advantage of my love and sexual and emotions, and even ever in the physical reality. Me, Ralph and JR, also known as Ralph and JR. But you have to look at this title to know who I am and stuff. But I'm gonna just say just like this. I'm a little side to the rock, but I'm just gonna say like this. Imagine if Rags Edge Blade and Shield was trying to, and their mother's age, Shaylee and Liv, was trying to commit identity theft to even condition spirits and lie to spirits that was more powerful than them, for they could be to manipulate the physical reality. So that means they were demoralizing spirits and energies and trying to succubus their energy and force, showing you even at the 10 astrological jewels, they never completed the the 10 astrological jewels, my real wives, my literal, me, Rafu, and JR's real wives, my real empresses, my literal empresses, my real wives I made. And then, you know, and then they never completed their education, so they demoralized the value because their lack of reality. I'm the one that made all education in the physical, so in the physics, I would have to do something a certain type of way so they would be okay, but in the same time, and a form of remembrance at a time, because one would have to want to handle the distortion that they cause in all frequencies of habitation of one's social economics. So imagine if they never finished their education and then they try to devalue a jewel. And remember, I made all education, right? But say they try to devalue a jewel in existence, and then they try to manipulate other empresses or Magistar empresses or Majesty empresses to do the same thing, and then they fell to their stupidity and ended up doing the same thing like what they almost do to Mushu, and made Mushu started dishonoring the elder calendar at a point. And then you think about this, right? If these chicks were doing that to jewels and devaluing jewels, high quality, what would they do in physics? What they would have did to spirits or energies or possession spirits in life? That means they would have tried to devalue possession spirits and energies and forces in life that would have caused the end of their reality, or they will never be able to cause the end of reality, but try to cause the end of their habitation. Probably they were trying to absorb some power or be a part of a power that I didn't want to give them, and then they were trying to keep it a certain type of way. They can't keep it, so the energies and forces will have to take it from them and just be able to handle the situation, so they will never hinder anybody mentally, emotionally, vibrational frequency, or physically, or even intimately or sexually, ever in the physical reality, rags that you bleed and shield, age, shade, and live, and you will have to know who these individuals are, and then on top of it, the light of the anatomy of the magic would already know if an individual tried to manipulate it a certain type of way. They would have to even check the point just to see the reality, how real situations is even life, and then the energies would have to literally, like, how can I say this? They would have to be careful, because in physics, if they try to condition other children, that wasn't their children, because nothing new under the sun, I'm the real rise or me. So if that wasn't their children, what were they reconditioning, and what would level of physics were they doing it on, and trying to manipulate the level of physics and mentality of individuals? So that means there must have been energies that I made a certain type of way that was even more powerful than them, that they were trying to manipulate, that they had to handle. So that means they were trying to get the source of the energy's power, so being like a succubus or really on some Highlander. So the energy's possession spirits of real power and order would have to put them away, because the wrong that they will commit in the physics, in the physical reality, even when it comes to metaphysics or mythology, before they even got to hurt an individual in the mentally, emotionally, in anatomy, frequencies, and even in matter, or highest quantum mega super celestial and celestial, or celestial structure of all stars, star clusters, astrology, constellations, let's say the zodiac, or space, or gravity, or skies, or elements, or those stones and elements, or skies, or lightning, electricity. And it kept it, and everything I said, they would have to stop them individuals, because they would try to be manipulating the force, trying to absorb an individual's magic. So once they seen that, the force itself would already be able to handle them. But it's just the fact is that they would even try to influence that. So a person would have to come forth to make the energy, the energies of existence, the spirits, to realize the danger that they might be in, because another person might be trying to recondition them for their power and magic, and that then they have placement to have that type of power and magic in any order, and then try that, and then you would have to diminish them in the physical reality, and they couldn't be in a mental existence of individuals in any time, because they remember, Ain't Shayla and Liv name was originally a part of, I named the love at a time, because I was so happy having Raz, but I had a wife love, and I had wife's loves already, but because they didn't complete their education, and she got jealous, and she tried to kill the real love, the real reason of endurance and existence in life. I called her Liv, because when they went to go murder, I was like, let her live, because I had a child with her at the time. I had to go about situations trying to be adult and a man that was a certain lenience, a certain type of way. But then I was like, so much was around at the time, I couldn't have something like that trying to affect the order, causing that influence. So I was like, just leave, let her live for now, and then we'll see what happens later. And then next thing you know, her doing that, trying to cause identity theft, the energies would already know what she was doing because she was already marked from her existence of who she was. So they would be able to tell there's energies that would already know who she is, and they would have to be fearful and to get rid of her, or they would have to even habitate the energy and make sure the energy, even the planet would, if once it does something, once she would do something, even if you wouldn't have to worry about it a certain type of way, but once she does something like that, one would have to watch what's going on the planet because it would already have to diminish the situation a certain type of way to be controlled because that's the wrong of the reality did. And if they started hindering the point of existence, me, the reason of existence is life himself, then individuals have to handle them because they shouldn't be around me a certain type of way in any form, in any physical or spiritual, emotional. So you would have to put it back in order because if they continue trying to upset the order, that means they're going to go after the energies and forces, and they're disregarding energies and forces that's higher than them. The reason that they even know anything about magic or mythology or metaphysics at a level of science or or even even receptiveness of physical reality. So once they would do something like that, one would have to destroy them, just literally them physically, literally, even in the spiritual realm. So they would never. You have to destroy them, even the physical, before they endanger the energies and forces, before they try to absorb the energies and forces, light of reality or any type of way, and before anything happens, so they wouldn't, if individuals wouldn't be in danger. So the magical force of existence would have to acknowledge and know these type of situations and how real situations would have to be to acknowledge and would they would have to handle or captivate the situation to have it or handle the situation, even hosting to hold or to really to host the situation before anything's got out of hand a certain type of way because that means they would be endangering purity of the existence and causing the end of reality of all life, of existence, of all social economic education. So the energies and forces, once they realized that those chicks started influencing or they started making physics, causing identity theft, and then if one didn't change to even regard, then you would already know. So or were they the ones that's manipulating and trying to cause it a certain type of way to cause the end of existence? Once the energies realize that, that's like it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like taking advantage of even individuals that did Yu-Gi-Oh! You remember Yu-Gi-Oh! There was energies and people, there was people, and the energies I also made, also people that just loved me so much that they went into a spiritual realm a certain type of way, on a low, a different, not even a parallel, it was like a different reality from the Empress in a certain type of way, just to be able to educate individuals. So if they did something like that, those were people that was been attacking physics of the purity of existence and causing the deterioration and probably causing the collapse of the real habitation of elements. And even other empresses, that was just even the foundations of education and of habitation a certain type of way. That means they will probably be going after their light and just probably trying to diminish it and cause a form of deterioration, probably like a tar or some type of form of physical reality. And once you would see things as signs like that, you would have to get rid of the individuals that's causing it. So you would have to really the energies would have to really be precise when it comes to magic and physics before they would be hurt by these individuals that try to even fuck up the consecration of the purity of all legacies and lineages, and even down to when I'm the ice Andromeda, but even down to the ice galaxy. So ice Andromeda meaning I'm the dad because the way I handle situations instantly in a physical reality, and through without even a view of hesitation. So it's just like an individual would have to literally be very, on it instantly. So, that means they will be going after consecration or trying to go and trying to cause disorder or destruction to social economic system when things are supposed to be precisely in order. That means they wouldn't even, because if an energy is in high regard, they would have to honor the energy of the high regard for the reason of existence or habitation, to know why to honor the energy, because it was the reason of their habitation. So if they would try to manipulate it, the energy would have to get rid of them, because that means they will cause pollution to the energy a certain type of way in a form of physics, in an element, and then the individuals will wonder, and then if an individual is not being cleansy, if doing something, is a difference in the physical reality, because one of habitation is a difference, but if they're just causing something without being cleansy, then one would know that these individuals, the other, I'm a man of God, but the other individuals was going to be, they probably wasn't of regard. So you got to really think about it, their habitation and their mentality through time, and their vindictive or deviousness that will cause demonic or democratic realities in the physical. So be very careful, I'm just warning the energies before they end up in a Highlander situation and before people really break order and cause the end of existence, because the dreams that I had and things that was happening. So to regard me, protect me, and give me love and happiness, everything I need in life, like I said, but think about and view the habitation as one regards me, and make sure that I always have the higher quality of happiness anytime I want in the physical reality of all physics. And I'm just warning you, even in physics, because you don't want people trying to do Highlander, trying to absorb an energy, a person that's a lower nature, trying to absorb the energy a certain type of way to manipulate the physical reality of the power, and then disregarding them. They're acting like a hooker or some stripper or some escort or some person that doesn't care about existence and just wants to diminish existence, that has a real a devious or evil type of mind frame that will cause the weirdness of the quality of love or orientation or order or honor. So one would have to really watch out for if those type of individuals have that mentality, because you know how some people live through time and then they just get slothful because they get spoiled, because they trying to be more than their habitation. It's like having the wrong type of sex, and then it's like, I'm the right sex, but it's like another person trying to have the wrong type of sex, and then next thing you know, trying to be more than the reason of their existence, of their habitation, of their circumference, of their social economics. So you got to really think about what I'm saying and what I already spoke about on rAlPH Jr. White as Gold, also rAlPH Jr. Majesty Chi. On these YouTubes, I have a YouTube called rAlPH Jr. White as Gold, and this is the YouTuber rAlPH Jr. Majesty Chi. And I also have White as Gold on this one also, but it's just showing you everything I spoke about, for one would know to the way to view situations a certain type of way. Also, even when it comes to physics is from point 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond, and even to the cycle of existence. So know how real even physics is, even the physical habitation is called physics, because it leads up to the physical habitation, to metaphysics, and then to mythology, and then higher forms of existence. Just know what I'm speaking about. Love one. That's all I can say. Love one. The existence, rAlPH Jr. Life himself, the real Ra, the real Osiris, the real Orion, the real Orion. Love one. Orion Pax himself. Love one. The real Buddha, the real East me. The East, I am the East himself, whichever way you look at it.